This is Trend Following Radio, where great thinking comes alive. Nobel Prize winners, legendary traders, best-selling authors, and the pros that know what drive us irrational human beings. I am your host, Michael Covel. Not filtered, raw, honest. That's my passion.
Coming to you loud and clear from sunny Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. This would be me, Michael Covel, bringing you an update. So I was just in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia for 3 weeks, and then I did 2 days in Singapore to catch up, and now I'm in Ho Chi Minh City for 2 weeks. Very cool, very cool. I'm going to talk about some experiences I had in Singapore and Vietnam so far, just in Vietnam. I just got here in the last 24 hours. But first, I want to share with you a quote. It's a quote from Ed Seykota. For those that are not familiar with Ed, he was originally featured in the Market Wizards book by Jack Schwager, and he was featured in my book, Trend Following. And Ed has an exceptional ability to take complicated thoughts and reduce them down to a few words. And those words he reduces the complicated thought down have the unique ability, if you are paying attention and if you really want to see it, they have the unique ability to almost hold a mirror up to you. So if you have excuses in life about whatever issue you might be dealing with, sometimes Ed has this unique ability to construct a sentence to when you read it, especially if it's a sentence regarding an issue that you might be having trouble with, it's like a mirror. It's like you can't escape. Every which way you look, you're looking into the mirror, if you're honest with yourself. So I've seen this ability in Ed for a long time, and I know other people have. And I noticed that he recently started up posting live again on his Trading Tribe website, and I know he has a book coming out in the fall. But he had this one simple quote, and I kind of just took part of it from his website. And he said, he was talking about day trading, and he said, traders use it medicinally as distraction from deeper issues. Isn't that awesome? I mean, if you're honest about anything, that's just awesome. Traders use day trading medicinally as distraction from deeper issues. Now, you can go online, and I see these people on Facebook, I see them online, and some of them are, from what I gather, they're fine people, bright perhaps, and they spend all day staring at screens, all day attempting to divine the direction, glued to the screens, every tick, 5-minute bars, where they just have to watch all day long. They have to watch all day long. I would love to see the track records of the day traders. I mean, when I put my book Trend Following together, the reason I did it is I had all these track records of these disparate traders, often not associated with each other, from different countries, different walks of life, but all practicing trend following, and all often losing and making money at the same times, which was, a dead giveaway that they were doing something similar, and that similar they were doing was they were employing the method of trend following as I describe in my book. So I thought it was always interesting that I had all this great performance data. And so I was able to take the performance data of these trend following traders and then write words around the performance data to explain the performance data. I mean, here you have all this performance data going back decades proving trend following success. But my goal was to try how to explain it. But foundationally, if I didn't have all that performance data, it would just be a book of opinions. It'd be a book of Mike Covel just spouting off that he thinks he knows something important, but there'd be no foundation to it. Nothing concrete. No mortar in between the bricks. Nothing substantial. So once again, when Ed says traders use it medicinally as distraction from deeper issues, there's a lot going on there. For sure, if you believe day trading works, if you believe it works, then Ed is definitely holding a mirror up to you saying, prove it. At least to yourself, prove that it works. And if you can't prove that it works, what Ed's statement so eloquently does is it says maybe you're working on something else in your life. Some other emotional issue, some other personal issue. And this other issue that you're working on, you're trying to solve by being a day trader. Now, plenty of people are sitting out there right now. They might hear this and they're like, it's not worth my time. Just tell me the facts, or, what's the fundamental data, or what's the technical trend following system. This stuff's all irrelevant. Sekota's over the hill. It just doesn't make any sense today. And that's just nonsense. Completely nonsense. Once again, look at my first book, Trend Following. Look at the performance data. Now, where are all the day traders with the performance data? Where are they? They don't exist. They don't exist. Now somebody will say to me, well, what about Steve Cohen or something like that? There's some hedge fund manager that's got hotlines into every investment bank and a $15 billion net worth. And we're going to sit around and talk about how that connects to the average Joe out there being able to day trade. Are you serious? Really? That's your pitch back? That's your counter? Once again, how many different track records, how many different performance track records exist in my books, in my assorted books? An absolute ton. Traders use it medicinally as distraction from deeper issues. So somebody, an individual, has something going on in their life. Maybe they are unhappy. Maybe they haven't made enough money. Maybe they're in debt. Maybe their wife left them. Who knows? Maybe their kids are a pain in the butt. Maybe their car broke down. Day trading is the lottery mentality. Regardless of the people that come online and gussy it up and say you can do it, you too can win. It's the exact reason I put a segment in my film on lotteries. It's the same thing. It's a small percentage chance of winning big. The odds are terrible, but people love it. And I'm not here to try and convince people that day trading is bad. I really wanted to focus on Ed's phrase because I thought it was beautifully simple and it was powerful. Traders use it medicinally as distraction from deeper issues. Think about it. So, let me jump into a couple other things that are going on right now. As I said, I just got back from Singapore. And Singapore is the place that you go and you look around and you observe. And especially if you're an American and you just say, wow, America can't do this. Just can't. There'd be too many hands in the cookie jar. There'd be too many local bureaucrats and local government officials complaining they didn't like this or they didn't like that. You would never get the Marina Bay Sands built. You would never get any of it done. The environmentalists would be going crazy because they're filling in the ocean to build an island out to a much larger mass. You just never get anything done. Look, I'm sure Singapore has some negative. Perhaps it's too boring. Perhaps being too perfect and too clean and all this stuff is boring. But they have a lot of economic freedom. There is a desire there to make money. Economic freedom, making money, however crass that might sound to some, leads to a better quality of life. Every instance you can find. I'm reading a book right now I forget the exact title, but I think the word oligarch is in the title, discussing the Russian oligarchs, how they came to power, how they made their billions. And it really is rooted in the system that was the old Soviet Union system, the system of a state-run economy. Everything was run by the state. The banks, the delivery of bread, the delivery of produce, everything was run by the state. The production of bread, the production of produce. It was amazing to read in the beginning chapters discussing how people used to go ahead and in the Soviet Union, they would all get this bread that would be molded and the vegetables would be rotten. And this is how they lived for decades. And the VCR in the early 1980s is what helped turn around a lot of what became the disintegration of the old Soviet Union. Because the VCR showed what was going on in Western societies, showed the opulence, showed the wealth, showed the blue jeans, showed the food, showed the full refrigerators. They didn't have that in the old Soviet Union. And eventually, we all know what happened. So I'll report more as I get more into this book, but it's a really interesting read. And I guess I bring it up because I'm in Ho Chi Minh City, formerly known as Saigon. And there is nothing here that remotely feels communist to me. Now, mind you, I've only been here for a day. But all I see is commerce. All I see are people trying to make money. Now, I did look out the window and I saw two, I guess over top government buildings perhaps, two flags, just the solid green flag, kind of like an army color looking green, with a red star. And that might have been close to the Louis Vuitton store, or was it the Fendi bag store? I'm not sure. Maybe it was the Banana Republic that I saw the communist star next to. Yeah. I mean, it is Commerce 101. I would not bet against this place. I mean, maybe Vietnam doesn't have all the economic stuff figured out yet, but there is an energy here. People are ready to roll. They're ready to make something happen. And they clearly are making something happen. It's really cool. So I was speaking with a friend today, and we were talking about, and she runs a travel business, helping people to navigate Ho Chi Minh City when they first get here for the first time. And as we were sitting in this coffee shop, and she had to take a break from chatting with me, and she was counting her money, just like a money changer, counting her money. And I finally, she had a friend that came in too, and they were both doing this together, figuring out all their appointments, and just two entrepreneurs making it happen. And I looked at them and I said, can either of you explain to me, where is the communism as you sit here and count your money? Can you explain it to me? Where is it? I'm still looking for it. I saw the flags, and I think I saw a couple guys walking down the street in green uniforms, but everything else was commerce, capitalism 101. They both started laughing. They're like, yeah, a lot of people say that. They get to Ho Chi Minh City for the first time, and they kind of don't really expect to see what they're seeing. And I guess ultimately that brings me back to America. You know, America doesn't have the ability to build a Singapore right now. That's sad. I think I've said it on prior podcasts. But I think what's really interesting is America, and I'm not like some expat wandering the world looking at all the bad sides of America and trying to give some lament. I'm just making an honest comparison. But here in Vietnam, you don't have the ability to vote. You don't necessarily have this free speech ability to go criticize the government. I would argue the free speech and the ability to vote in America doesn't necessarily get you to any better place than what you have in Vietnam. In Vietnam, if you want to start a business, you can do it. You want to make money? You can do it. In America, if you want to start a business, you can do it. You want to make money? You can do it too. But it's the voting part, the government part. See, in America, I think it's all about pretending. It's all about pretending that your vote matters. And then you get a choice of one of two people, someone on the left or someone on the right. And there's a fantasy that goes on in America that their guy, either on the left or the right, is drastically different than the other guy. And then everyone, there's an election, the vote takes place, the new guy gets elected, and nothing changes. Nothing changes at all. Nothing changes. So I wonder, what's better? The system where you know you don't have certain freedoms, you don't have certain rights, or the system that gives you these rights and freedoms, but it's more of a fantasy? So what's better? I don't know if it's a better question. I just want to paint a picture that perhaps the American ideal, perhaps the American system, at one point in time was founded on pure ideals, very noble ideals. But I would say the bureaucracy in the system that is the American system has gotten so big and so unwieldy. The average person's vote makes no difference. It just doesn't. And even a change in political leadership, since even though there's the fantasy that people think politicians in America on the left and right are drastically different, they actually have more in common than not in common. I mean, that's the reality. So it's exciting stuff. I really enjoy getting this perspective. There's no doubt that in a place like Vietnam, I'm starting to realize that just like, for example, Tokyo, and maybe even mainland China, there's probably language barriers when it comes to learning something like trend following. Because they definitely want to learn to get rich here. I mean, I have one friend of mine who I mentioned who's going to show me around some of Saigon. Once she looked at some of my work and stuff, she said, well, can you speak to my group, my entrepreneurial group? And I said, well, sure. Like, I mean, how big is this entrepreneurial group? And I mean, I said, well, explain to me, what is this exactly? And she said, oh, we get together and we talk. And she mentioned like Anthony Robbins and Tim Ferriss and all these ways of thinking about being an entrepreneur. And I said, what are we talking, like 20 people, 40 people? That's fine, whatever. She said, oh, no, it could be like 500 or 1,000. And I said, well, I tell you what, you get me 1,000 people in Vietnam where I can stand up and talk about making money and give people some insights on being an entrepreneur. And I said, if that's your regular size group, I mean, if you don't really have the ability to make it get larger, I said, I'll definitely give you a bonus. You get 1,000 people to show up in a room in Vietnam and I get a chance to just talk about the subject and do Q&A and learn from them, they can learn from me. Bingo, you're going to get a bonus for that. But what a great attitude, right? That attitude's infectious. Now, she did say, she cautioned me, she said, not everyone in Vietnam is like me. But it's still a good sign. It's a good sign. There's that infectious, let's make something happen. One other thing, though, too, that she was talking about how to get things done in Vietnam, you have to often pay people off, whether it's money or wine or whatever. And I said, well, it's no different in America. I said, we've got to pay taxes and stuff. She said, yeah, but the taxes go to the government. And I said, yes, but the political leaders dole out the tax money to whoever they want, which is often their friends. So it says, no different than your system. You might have to pay somebody, a low-level bureaucrat, you might have to pay them money. Maybe they keep it personally. But in America, they just make it look more pretty. The politicians take the money in tax revenue and dole it out to their friends, and then they pay back off the politician in some other way. So it's all the same thing. And that kind of struck her. She started laughing. She's like, I never thought about it like that. I said, yeah, it's the same thing in my mind. Anyways, I know part of that's not necessarily related to trading, but I think people will probably find it interesting, some of these different perspectives, especially if you've not had the chance yet to get to places like Singapore or Vietnam. And I highly recommend both. So, skip the European vacation, skip London, skip Italy. I mean, you can always, I'm not telling you to do anything, you can do whatever you want to do. But if you've got a choice and you normally would not say, I want to go to Asia, go to Asia. You will forever thank me. It is this unique parallel world to Western society, and it still has its own charm and its own unique there. And it's really cool. Love it.
I see a time when those awake will understand how to make money in up, down, and surprise markets. Whether new trader or experienced, college student or financial advisor, protecting against a crash or just trying to make a lot of money, trend following offers everyone an answer in uncertain times. To get started immediately, send me an email, michael@covel.com. I will send you the right trend following steps to take along with my free video. But if you want to buy and hold, trust the government and trust Wall Street, this is absolutely not for you.